Do you think that the Giants' hot streak can continue, or will Seattle's Cinderella story find a way to continue at home?
Kev, this is a toss up for me because I could really see both teams winning, and I've been surprised by both teams this year. I'm going to take a little bit of a hot take here. I'm going with Seattle here, and I understand that that could be a tough pick, knowing that DK Metcalf is going to be missing some time. So there's going to be a big emphasis on really trying to maximize their offensive potential with the pieces that they have available. But man, I gotta say it. I've been really impressed by Geno Smith this year. I've watched Geno Smith for years at this point. I'm a diehard Patriot fan, and I don't remember him playing this well when he was a member of the New York Jets when he was getting his career started. But man, when you look at Geno Smith this year, he has been nothing short of phenomenal. When you look back to that game last week against the Chargers, I thought he was solid. Outside of the one interception that he had early on in the first half, I thought he was money. He was effective. And not only that, they were able to get good contributions from their run game as well. With Kenneth Walker getting over 150 yards on the ground, had 2 touchdowns in that game. He was extremely effective in that capacity. And not only that, their defense has been surprisingly decent this year. I wouldn't say it's like top echelon or upper echelon where, they're like a top 5 defense, but this defense is opportunistic and they're able to bring effective pass rushes and force turnovers. They were able to do that effectively against the Chargers last week where, again, they were kind of like ball hawking in a couple possessions against the Chargers. So there's a very good chance that the Seattle defense could be able to force some turnovers against Daniel Jones because let's face it, Daniel Jones, when you look at his past, has been known to be turnover prone. And he has quite a case of the fumbles throughout his career early on. And if Seattle is able to bring effective pass rushes early in this game, there could be a potential for the Seahawks to be able to get a turnover early, flip the field, and then maybe potentially score some points off of it. And, I think this game is really going to be I think this game's going to be really focused around momentum because I think it's going to be relatively close early on. Both teams are probably going to trade points early in the first half. And then, honestly, I just see Seattle kind of ramping it up in the second half after halftime. I think they're going to make second half adjustments that are going to be beneficial for them in that second half, against the Giants. And I think for me, I understand that they're facing some injuries, and that's definitely something that's going to be a focal point for Seattle here. But I think they're going to be able to overcome them this week. I look at the Giants. The Giants have been one of the best stories that we've seen in the NFL so far this year. The one thing that I like about the Giants is that their defense has been solid, and Saquon Barkley and that Giants offense, they've been consistent this year. But I think they're going to run into a situation where they got to travel to the West Coast, and I think, the elements are probably going to get them in this game a little bit, knowing that it's like a 3-hour time difference going from New York to Seattle here. And I just think that by and large, I think the Giants are probably going to miss some plays here. I think there's a chance that they may turn the ball over a couple times, and I think that's going to set them behind in this game. And I think Seattle's going to punish them for it. So the way that I see this game playing out, like I said, could be close in the first half, but I think the Seattle really kind of ramps it up in the second half, and they kind of pull away from the Giants towards the end of the game. But I do think that this game is going to be relatively close when it's all said and done. I do believe this game is going to be a one-possession game when it's settled, but I'm going with Seattle here. I think there's a very good chance that Seattle's going to be able to put up some points here. I don't know if they're going to crack 30 because that Giants defense is nothing to slouch on. This Giants defense is competitive, and they've been a force to be able to hold teams consistently around 15 to 20 points in the games that they've been in. So, this is not going to come easy for Seattle. But if I had to say, I think Seattle wins this one possession game. I'm going to say they win this one by the score of like 24-20 in this one. I just don't have a lot of faith that Daniel Jones and that offense is going to be able to put enough points on the board against Seattle. If they do, I think it's just where Saquon's going to pop off for 150 yards rushing. You might get like a tut or two, but I do think that Seattle's going to be able to limit him to a certain extent to keep him under 100 yards rushing. And I think that's going to be the defining factor in this game defensively for Seattle, on top of the turnovers that they're going to potentially get in this game. So that's just how I see this one playing out.
Dude, I got to go to the opposite. I'm going with the G-Men, man. I think that the travel's not going to make a difference. They already flew out to London this year, and they got the dub against obviously what I would assume is a better matchup in terms of a tougher opponent because of Green Bay at the time being one of the better teams in the NFC East. In the NFC. At the time,
Nah,
when that was the first game they played, Green Bay was 3-1 when they beat Green Bay. They
nah.
were coming off of a triple overtime game against the Pats. They were not 4-3. They
Triple
were not
overtime.
going back and forth in certain games. When Green Bay lost to the Giants, they were 3-1.
Yeah, but even some of their wins, you could look back to some of the wins that the Packers had. They were kind of ugly wins. They
I'm
weren't
not denying
necessarily
that,
high
but in
flying.
terms of quarterback presence, would you take Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers?
Based off of this season,
In general, are you taking Geno over Aaron? Would you have assumed that would have been the outcome?
in, ge-
Because you picked Green Bay to win that game,
I did, but with
and
the
it was an
way,
upset 100 hours
but
away.
but with the issues that the Packers have been facing this year, I mean, let's face it. When you look at Geno Smith compared to Aaron Rodgers this season, I understand this is going to come off as a hot take, but Geno
Not a
has
hot
been
take.
better. Geno's been better than Aaron Rodgers this year, and I understand Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense have their issues. There's no denial of that. But what I see as far as effectiveness is concerned, Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers this season in
This
particular.
season,
This
yes.
season. And guess what? I could apply the same standard to Geno Smith over Daniel Jones as well. So, as far as the quarterback matchup, I think that Geno still has the advantage here. But I'll let you continue.
I'm going to go with the fact that I got Danny Dimes because of his mobility. I think they have the better running back, obviously. Saquon Barkley is him, period, point blank. The man is back. I just saw a hype video or clip video, whatever the hell, of him going through his rehab over the last couple of years. That shit was crazy. I'm always going to go with the Bronx guy anyway. So I got the Giants because I feel like they're out to prove people wrong. They're out to show people that this is not a fluke. Everyone's going around saying, oh, their schedule hasn't been tough. Oh, they're not really competitive as opposed to the Eagles and the Cowboys, blah, blah, blah. People fail to realize they played the Cowboys tough and they lost by a single possession. So they act like it was a blowout. And then they've beaten every other team like you're supposed to. Whether or not the schedule is weak, you got a dub. So this is going to be a good test for them for sure because Seattle's offense is absolutely humming. I'm not taking away from Geno. I've been a big Geno supporter throughout this season. I've even made points to say that Geno has been better than Russell Wilson. And of course, Kyle just made the point, very valid point, that he could potentially even be better than Aaron Rodgers. And I agree with that point. But what I'm saying is
This season.
this season. That's what I'm saying. This season. What I'm saying is I believe that the Giants are better than what people are giving them credit for. I think that the whole distance of where they're going to be playing, the weather and all that, so the Giants have already done the travel. The Giants have already dealt with adversity being in another country. So let's not put it aside like, it's they haven't traveled this season across the country or across the state or whatever. They've gone as far as you can go in terms of in the NFL. So I think playing on the road, they're no stranger to that. I think that the Giants have proven that they can do it with a lack of a receiving core. Kadarius Toney just got traded. He wasn't playing. Kenny Galladay has been pretty banged up all season. He's been useless. What's the guy? Wardell? No, Wardell is freaking Steph Curry. Well, Wendell Robinson from Kentucky. He's been their only consistent guy aside from Darius Slayton. So the Giants are dealing with everything that they have on their plate, and they're still finding ways to win. So that's why I'm going to pick them because they've proven week in and week out that they can be competitive. They're winning. Brian Dable's changed the culture. The defense is playing very well. They're getting healthy at the right time. Again, when Saquon Barkley is leading the league in all-purpose yards for running backs, I truly believe that is a game changer. And unless the Seahawks can slow him down, I do not see them, unless it's a shootout, like I said, I don't see the Seahawks keeping up with the Giants. I'm hoping it's going to be a good game like we're all wanting it to be, but at the end of the day, I'll take the Giants in a close one, and I think it'll be around the score of maybe 24-21, something of that magnitude. It's going to be a good one, but I got the G-Men moving to 7-1.